Hello, Aquarius. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot. I hope you're doing well today. This is your message from your ancestors as of November 11th, 2025. I've set the intention of this reading to be for Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. So if you have Aquarius in any of those placements, odds are there's a little message in this reading for you. Also, keep in mind that this is a collective general reading. It is not individualized nor personalized to you. Messages may come through today that do not fully resonate. And if that happens, don't get upset. It just means that one message is meant for someone else watching. So take what fits, how it fits, leave what doesn't. Be sure to check out your other placements. And also please keep in mind that I am a Gemini. My ruling planet Mercury is in retrograde. So I may fumble, stumble, bumble my way through your reading, although I'll try not to. But if I do, please have some grace and forgiveness with me. With all of that said, let's begin. Tapping into the Aquarius collective now for Aquarius Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What message do the ancestors have for Aquarius as of November 11th, 2025? What message do you have for them? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Your message, power. The bottom of the deck, you have shadow self and kindred spirits. All right, let's see where we go with this. Tell me more about this here for Aquarius. Why is the message from the ancestors regarding power? What do they need to know about power? Don't get mad at me. I know we just started the reading. I think you're getting in your own way with that shadow self. It's almost like this is sort of like Ace of Pentacles, right? Like the archway in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. You're so focused on something else, this little bird. You're focused on something that's inconsequential. And as a result, you're not moving through the doorway. Like you're supposed to move towards the new, but you're focused on something here. It's like, it's just a bird. It's just a bird. You're supposed to like spread your wings and fly. Okay. Tell me more about this here for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. What do they need to know about power? You're standing still in the doorway of a new beginning. Distracted. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Nine of Cups. Knight of Cups. Five of Cups. Six of Cups. That's a lot of cups for an air sign. Bottom of the deck, Five of Pentacles, the Tower, and the Ace of Pentacles. I said that reminded me of the Ace of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Page of Pentacles, Six of Swords, and the Strength card. Yikes. We're going to see what the full message is, but I think you sat at this gateway too long. You were supposed to move through this doorway towards the Nine of Cups, towards wish fulfillment. And you didn't. There was someone waiting for you on the other side. Look, kindred spirits and union. There's someone waiting for you, or they were waiting for you, on the other side of that doorway. Your shadow self, something here is preventing you from moving forward. We can blame the little bird for being the distraction, but the shadow self is within us, right? I say that as an Aquarius rising. The shadow self is within us. So we're being distracted by something when we know we're supposed to go through the doorway. So really the bird is not the issue. We're the issue, right? So as a result, we either have lost something or we're about to lose something. I feel like there's still time to like reclaim our power. The wings, she kind of is like transforming into a butterfly. Then you have the Tower, which is a sudden shock or something like that. But look, all butterflies, transformation, which is Pluto, right? That is scorpionic energy. So first tell me about the Nine of Cups. Happiness, wish fulfillment. There's like a little treasure chest here in the corner. So maybe for some of you, it's in regards to your career or your finance. For others of you, it could be in respect to a partnership, a soulmate connection. Tell me about that Nine of Cups. What is this Nine of Cups here for Aquarius? One more shuffle. Thank you. Nine of Cups. Five of Swords. Chariot. And the King of Wands. Bottom of the deck, the Moon, the Lovers, and the Five of Wands. Full card. Okay. So at some point in time, despite doubts, fears, reservations, despite the distraction of this bird, which consequently is the bird here in your ear. So at some point in time, despite the distractions, you decided This person, place, or thing is my Nine of Cups, and I'm moving towards them. I'm in full control, right? Who drives the chariot? The Emperor, the Empress. So here we have the King of Wands. I'm not going to call it lower vibrational Emperor energy, but King of Wands for me is sort of like what the Nine of Pentacles is. It's like Emperor in training. So I kind of feel like this was you at some point in time, despite the distractions or what was in your ear, you identify this person, place, or thing as wish fulfillment or something that would make you very happy. You took the inspired action to get in that chariot and forge forward. To give this offer, to receive this offer, you were kind of in your power, but not really. We don't see Emperor, Empress energy there, but we do see King of Wands. So you took the inspired action and go after something. Despite doubts, fears, reservations, insecurities, even your shadow self. In that moment, you didn't even pay attention to your shadow self, which was telling you not to do it for whatever reason. You went ahead and you accepted or received this offer. Knight of Cups. Tell me about the Knight of Cups. Yeah, you received. I shouldn't have said you accepted or received. There's Mercury retrograde. You either gave it or you received it. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Knight of Cups is clarified by Three of Cups, Strength, and Two of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Eight of Cups, Eight of Wands, and the Lover. So you made the choice to move towards your Nine of Cups. That's what happens when we leave the Eighth Cup. We're in search of the Ace of Cups, which takes us to the Nine of Cups. So you identify this person, place, or thing. And you either extended this cup or you received this cup from them. It made you very happy. It took you a lot of strength and a lot of courage and a lot of perseverance to do it, but you did it anyway. There's something here. Notice in the Strength card, there's like part lion in her face. I think that was the shadow self. Remember when I said that you were like part Emperor moving towards this? I feel like you weren't whole. Like you weren't 100% sold on this. It's just sort of you were ignoring the Five of Swords when you went towards it. You're like, yeah, I hear you, little devil on my shoulder or whatever, but I'm going to keep doing this. But I feel like the shadow self was never far behind. So in whatever this was, you showed up in it, but not to your best ability or to your best form. Oh, there's that Ace of Cups. I was just saying when we leave the 8, we move on towards the 9. So you were showing up in whatever this was or is, but you weren't 100% there. Five of Cups. Tell me about the Five of Cups. Tell me about the Five of Cups. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Five of Cups is clarified by Two of Wands, Eight of Pentacles, and the Six of Swords. Bottom of the deck, Four of Swords, the Hermit, and the Seven of Swords. So the shadow self, the part of you that was telling you, I don't know if this is a good idea, you suppressed and you buried, and every now and then it would kind of like, show itself. And I think this is where you started going back and forth. Do I really want to do this? Do I really want to keep moving towards that Nine of Cups, whatever that is, wish, dream, goal, person, situation, whatever. Do I want to move away from it? Do I want to move towards it? Do I want to work on it? Do I want to work on something else? Do I want to leave up? Do I just want to like abandon it, give up on it? Five of Cups. So there was a part of you here that was able to suppress the Five of Swords, but you never truly overcame it. You never conquered those negative voices in your head that told you not to move in this direction. Because the majority of you wanted to move in that direction, and that's why you did. But then at some point, it looks like you came to a screeching halt. So I think what your ancestors are trying to tell you, the person, place, or thing or idea that you started moving towards, but then you decided not to move towards it for whatever reason, little inconsequential to the reading. I think you regain your power by looking at the shadow self. What was that Five of Swords? What was that Five of Swords? What is this bird? What is this voice inside of you that tells you you can't do it or you shouldn't do it? That's the shadow self we need to look at. Tell me about the Six of Cups. Your power resides in recognizing the shadow self, healing the shadow self. Then you can move towards something or someone, whether it's that same situation, environment, connection or not. Okay, tell me about the Six of Cups here. One more shuffle. Thank you. Six of Cups clarified by Seven of Pentacles, Eight of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. Bottom of the deck, Death card. Eight of Swords and the Fool. So at some point in time, probably in Scorpio season for most of you, this wish, dream, goal, opportunity, connection, whatever this was for you, your shadow self, hate to say won, but your shadow self won. After all the time you spent nurturing the idea, thinking of doing it, planning it, or being with this person, or whatever this was for you, after all this time of nurturing it or thinking about it, daydreaming about it, you either decided to walk away from it, or if it's a person, it decided to walk away from you. But I feel like it came to an end quickly in that Knight of Swords. It's like it's like I have the idea to learn how to be a realtor today. I'm all excited. It's just an example I'm giving you. I'm going to become a realtor. I'm going to get licensed. And then it's like part of you is like, oh, I don't really know if I want to be a realtor. But like, no. The other part of you is like, it'd be really great to be a realtor. And then you start going to realtor school. And that part of you that wasn't quite sure starts growing bigger and bigger. The shadow self starts overtaking you. And then we get into Scorpio season, and it's like you either didn't get accredited, maybe you failed, the class, or you just decided to quit. So you went from wanting this, ignoring the doubts, fears, or insecurities. You kept charging forward. And then either, like I said, you kind of just stopped dreaming about it. You stopped planning it. You stopped investing in it. You stopped moving towards it. And for some of you watching, maybe it stopped moving towards you, right? If this is a relationship and you took a long time to move towards it, then it's possible this person, for some of you, left you. Again, whatever it is, I don't feel like this is the important part of the reading. The important part of the reading that we need to look at is you reclaiming your power by healing the shadow self, which halted this progress in its tracks. Five of Pentacles, the Tower, and the Ace of Pentacles. Tell me about that Tower. I feel like it came to an abrupt end, or it's about to come to an abrupt end. Tell me about that Tower. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Tower, clarified by the Seven of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, the Two of Cups. Bottom of the deck, Page of Cups, Ten of Cups, the Death card. So that plan, that dream, that goal, that wish, that connection, whatever that was for you, it looks like it crumbled in the Tower. It left you in a state of confusion, in a state of, I don't know how to move forward. Do I go back and revisit that idea? Do I need to start over from scratch? Maybe I had a good idea, but I had a bad plan. Or maybe I had a good business idea, but the business model was faulty. Maybe I need to revisit it. Maybe I do want to be with that person, but I need to do it differently. So at some point in time, that crumbled. For a lot of you, I think it was Scorpio season, like this season, but it's a general collective reading. But at some point in time, it crumbled. You have an opportunity here to do it again, like to become a realtor again, using that example again, or to kick that plan into motion, to strategize it and do it right this way, follow it through, or reconnect with that person. I feel like you do have a choice here. That Ace of Pentacles can be whatever you want it to be. We could revisit the plan, but you can't do it again, like the same way, or it's just going to have the same outcome. So if you want to be a realtor and you're not taking it seriously, you're going to have the same Tower moment where you don't get accredited, or you don't get licensed, or you end up, leaving the class or whatever. And same thing if this is like a relationship. There might be a potential here for you to redo that relationship, but you can't show up in it the way you showed up in it before, with all of these doubts and fears and insecurities. So the shadow aspect for the Aquarius collective is something within them that they need to address. Because either you repeat the same cycle with this, or you're going to repeat the same cycle with the next plan, dream, goal, opportunity. So the Ace of Pentacles is here. You could redo this, reinvent this, either with this entity, or maybe you decide you don't want to be a realtor, but I don't know, you want to open up your own coffee shop. If you're not as dedicated, you're going to end up the same way the whole, realtor thing went. Tell me about the shadow self. Tell me about the shadow self. This is what you need to reclaim your power from. Whether you're revisiting that or not, you have a chance of redoing that cycle. And it's not a positive one, because it ended up in loss, right? Or the loss of the dream, or the loss of the plan. Let's get you some idea. What is the shadow self here for the Aquarius collective? One more shuffle. Thank you. Ace of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Six of Wands. 10 of Wands, Ace of Cups, Six of Pentacles. Your shadow self. I don't know if I want to see that. I don't want to lose any subscribers. Let me get 3 more on that. Let me make sure that message is right. Tell me about the shadow self. One more shuffle here. Thank you. 3 of Swords, 2 of Swords, King of Pentacles. I didn't want to say it. Are you motivated by ego and pride? Example. Let's say I'm speaking to an Aquarius and you want to move. Okay. You want to move. You're like, I really want to move. I desire to live in another community. And then you start getting ready to move. You start looking at homes, start looking at communities. 5 of Swords, a little voice inside of you, like, I don't know if I want to do this. And maybe your family is telling you, or your partner is telling you, no, we should really move. We should really relocate. And you're like, okay, you kind of get into the spirit and you're like, yep, let's start looking at other communities that I would really love, that we would really love. But there's a part of you with that 5 of Swords. It's like, because someone else is telling you to do it, or it was someone else's suggestion, please don't get mad at me. Just listen to this. Part of you the whole time was like, yeah, we're doing this, but I feel like I'm being forced to do this. I feel like it's not my decision. I feel like my spouse is making me move or my kids are making me move. I don't really know if I want to move, but you never really vocalized it. And you never addressed why you don't want to move. I don't think it has anything to do with that your partner or your kids or your family want you to move. I think there's something here about pride and ego, a wounded pride, wounded ego. The fact that you're being told to do this, or at least that's your perception of it. And so you get to some point, you're like, you know, I forget it. We're not moving. I'm not moving. We're not moving. And this could be your spouse that then says, you know what? Well, I'm moving. I'm moving. I don't want to live here anymore. I'm moving. Now you have a choice to save that relationship and say, okay, I'm going to work on my shadow self, my pride and ego here. And we can have this new beginning and we'll look for a new place where we can move. So you can go back to that plan and say, okay, I let my pride, my ego get in the way. This is very egoic energy. So I let my pride and I let my ego get in the way. I see that differently now. I'm going to do things differently. Wheel of Fortune. Because I didn't see it before. I was blindfolded and I felt forced or pressured to do this. And that's coming from a wounded ego. That's coming from I have to control everything. So maybe for some of you, your power is seeing that, like reclaiming your power, not from the person who wants you to move, the family member or the spouse, but like reclaiming it from your wounded ego. Because I think your ego has a little bit more power than you realize. I hope I didn't upset anybody. So again, that's just like in regards to move. And that's because I see the Chariot and the Six of Swords, and these are all cards of movement. But let's say this is something else. Let's say this is a relationship. You're in a relationship with this individual. You're like, okay, this is my 9 of Cups. They check off all the boxes. I think I would be very happy moving forward with this person. But then there's a little voice inside of you as the relationship progresses. This person wants to go off in another direction. Maybe they want to get married. And you're like, hold on. Hold on there, Betsy. I don't know if I want to get married. But that's coming from shadow self. That's like fear of commitment, wounded ego, not wanting to be controlled. Where is that coming from? Because clearly you have identified Betsy, for lack of a better word. No offense if you're Betsy watching. You've already identified Betsy as being the 9 of Cups. You moved forward with Betsy. She made you very happy. You gave your cup to her. She gave, her cup to you. But then the shadow side, this is Leo energy also. But then the shadow side came out. Maybe Betsy has too much control in this relationship. And either you left Betsy or Betsy left you. It's just an example. So there's something here of saying, I have the opportunity to revisit that connection with Betsy, and I can work on my shadow self to make sure my pride and ego don't get in the way of that again. Maybe I don't need to have total control of the relationship. Maybe it's supposed to be more of a partnership. Do you notice that with all the cards on the table, and we're talking about partnerships here, right? We don't have matches. So maybe for some of you, whether this is at work or within a family dynamic or a romantic relationship, we don't have a match. Like you and this person are not on the same page. You're trying to control something, they're trying to control something. And maybe for you, I'm not speaking for them. I don't know what issues they have. I'm not saying they're perfect. But maybe your inability to compromise, don't be offended, is coming from some shadow within. Maybe the last time you compromised, you got taken advantage of. And you don't want to go through that again. So now you're being more stubborn, Four of Pentacles, than you were in the past. High Priestess, the Star, the Page of Wands. Maybe there's something within you that we can discover and heal. Little dark night of the soul here is needed with that Hermit energy to have a new beginning, whether it's with Betsy, Becky, I forget what name I used, or whatever this is for you. So there's a shadow self here that needs to be healed in the Aquarius collective. It's almost like you're making these decisions from wounded pride and ego instead of looking at it like, this is like when there's like a problem in a relationship and you go along compromised because you don't want the argument, you don't want the Five of Swords, but you're really not compromising. You're just shutting off the part of yourself that's not agreeing to what's happening, and you're continuing to move forward. And then at some point, you blow up, they leave the cap off of the toothpaste, and the tower moment happens. You're like, I can't effing believe you left the cap off the toothpaste again. So maybe the shadow part for you, Aquarius, is that you're not actually expressing your wants, needs, and desires in a relationship. Maybe the way you handle connections or big decision making is to want to have full control. Because maybe the last time you compromised, you were taken advantage of. And you probably promised yourself back then, I'm never going to let that happen to me again. But now when you're entering connections, maybe you're a little bit more detached. I know you're the king and queen of detachment, but maybe there's something here where you think you're compromising by saying nothing and going along, but you're really not compromising. You're just shoving it down until the moment the tower erupts. Hope that's making sense for someone watching. Can we get advice for Aquarius on how they can heal this shadow aspect? Advice for Aquarius here. One more shuffle. Thank you. I'm almost at the 20-minute mark. I'm sorry. Hangman, see it from another perspective. Hangman, Four of Wands, and the Six of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Three of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Empress. See it from another perspective. Are you really collaborating with this person or these people? Is there really equal give and take? Or do you kind of have a little bit of a my way or the highway kind of attitude here? And again, probably because you were burned in the past. This could very well be some kind of defense thing that you have. Because like I said, we have no counterpart here. So I think I've tapped into a group of you where you just sort of shove down and suppress disappointment, sadness, anger. And the way that you forge forward, which is beautiful, you know, courage and conviction and fortitude. But maybe it's not very compromising in a healthy way. Let's get you some advice. I want to get you more on this. So yeah, you can revisit that Ace of Pentacles. You can revisit that plan, that dream, that goal, that relationship. Or if you're going to move on to the new in the Ace of Pentacles, you can heal this shadow self so you don't show up the same way. So I do think self-awareness here is key. Maybe this reading will help. Some of you say, yeah, I could be a little demanding. Maybe for some of you, you think compromise is giving up your power. Maybe that's another shadow aspect here. Maybe if you're not calling all the shots, you feel like you're not in control of the chariot. You're not in control of the direction your life is going in unless you have full say or full autonomy. And look, it's a great thing to be the emperor, empress, but the emperor has a counterpart. The empress has a counterpart. And you don't have to have a counterpart. You don't have to have a business partner. You don't have to have people you get along with. You don't have to have a partner that you forge forward with and build with. But if you want that, you have to learn the art of compromise. And the first thing here that I think you need to heal is that a little bit of that ego wound there. And again, I don't think it's something dirty or bad. I just think that you were wounded in the past, or you were taken advantage of in the past. And this time around, instead of voicing concern and saying, let's discuss this, let's compromise, you just go along until the point when you can't go along anymore. And then the tower happens. But it's all coming from this. It's all coming from this wounded place, this prideful place. How can Aquarius heal this shadow self? Advice for how they can heal this shadow self. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Four of Wands. Restabilize yourself. The Hangman shows itself again. The Page of Pentacles. Learn. Magician. Three of Swords. Temperance. Learn from these past experiences. Learn from the failures. Learn from the defeats. Learn from the losses. See them from another perspective. Were they entirely the other person's fault? Did your wounded ego or pride get in the way of a good thing? Did you miss out on the chance of a lifetime? If you did, and you're being honest and you recognize that within yourself, I feel like that's the first step. The perception of it wasn't all that person's fault. I think that's part one on you reclaiming your power from your shadow self, is just admitting that the shadow self exists. And then understanding why you have this wall up, or why you have these defenses up, or why you show up the way you do, or why you feel the need to control everything. Again, I don't know what the shadow self is for you. But the first step towards stability and success here and showing up differently, Four of Wands is the 1111 portal card, and this is your November 11th reading. So showing up differently requires seeing those past heartbreaks and failures from a different perspective and learning from them. Can we get a step 2 here, or a part 2 here for Aquarius? So admitting that you have one, recognizing it, learning from it. Part 2 here for Aquarius. One more shuffle. Thank you. Three of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, and the 10 of Wands. Bottom of the deck, 5 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands, and 2 of Cups. Start working on trying to show up differently, releasing those burdens, the burdens of the past, the ones that kept you stuck or trapped. 5 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands, 2 of Cups, 8 of Pentacles. It's possible for some of you, you very well could revisit that plan or that idea that maybe like originally you didn't want to go along with because you felt like you were pushed or shoved into it and you wanted total control. There is a possibility here where you can revisit that and now move forward and compromise with the person, express your doubts and fears and your concerns, and find an amicable way to achieve that goal, or to relocate, go on vacation, open the business, whatever that was for you. And for others of you, you do have the possibility of revisiting that connection if you want, and doing it a little differently. Fool to the Justice card. So you can do it differently. You can revisit the plan, the goal, the dream, the relationship, and you can do it differently. Fair and balanced, true compromise. Not going along, not coming from wounded ego, not blowing up the whole damn thing when you feel like it's not in your control, but doing it in a more fair and balanced way. The Devil, the 8 of Wands, and a Knight of Cups. Moving away from that toxic shadow self and moving towards the original Knight of Cups that was offered. So you can revisit this. Absolutely. You can revisit the plan, the goal, the dream, the relationship, or just a relationship, and do it differently this time. That's what I have for you, Aquarius. I hope all of those messages made sense to at least someone watching, but that is what I have for you. That is your message from your ancestors. See your shadow self. Recognize it, learn from your past mistakes, and moving forward, do your best to just show up differently. Express your doubts, fears, concerns. Don't act out from a place of wounded pride or ego. Have this new beginning. Revisit that plan, that relationship, or like I said, create a new one, but show up in a healthier way, because on the other side of that portal is a union. There's a divine connection, a partnership, a collaboration, a community waiting for you. Don't get lost in the distractions of the shadow self. Heal that once and for all and move forward. Reclaim your power. I feel like that Devil, that shadow card, has been in control. I don't think you think it's been you. It hasn't been you. It's been whatever this has been. You have an opportunity now to move. Recognize it, heal it, and move on from it. And you can do it. Your ancestors are telling you you can do it. But the work starts today, and the work starts from looking within. That is what I have for you, Aquarius. That is your ancestor message as of November 11th, 2025. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of it, please be sure to click like, share, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. And until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.